Today we're going to be working on Leetcode question number 37, Sudoku solver. So last time we did just we checked for the validity of the Sudoku in the last question. This question we're going to be solving the Sudoku. So it's gonna be done using a backtracking. Here are the rules. It's gonna go from 1 to 9, and the blocks are 3 cross 3. And wherever there is a dot, that means it's an empty one which we need to fill out. And we're gonna be doing it using backtracking here because uh, basically we're gonna be trying all the different combinations and see if it still keeps it valid or not. And that's how we're going to be coming up with the solution. So here is a basic structure of it. We're going to be so it's initially n is going to be the length of the board, which is going to be 9 actually. And then we're going to be depth first search. We're going to have a function depth first search, which we're going to be providing the board and the length of you can say row or column. And then we're gonna basically traverse through the board. The right one is gonna go from 0 to 9, and then the rows are gonna go from 0 to 9. The columns are gonna go from 0 to 9. So while we are traversing that, and we find out that where we are, it's the board's value is equal to a dot. We're gonna do something about it. What we're gonna be doing is like we're gonna be continuing. We're gonna say that okay, this is good. We're gonna if it is not equal to dot, we're gonna say that okay, continue. We don't want to worry about anything like that. That is the case. But if it is a dot, if there is an empty, if this is the place where we need to fill up, what we're gonna be doing, the possible solutions can go from 1 to 9. So we're gonna try all of them. So what we're gonna be doing is like we're gonna take the I character, which is basically what it's it's an integer converted to a string, and its value can be from 1 to 9. We're gonna take that I character. We're gonna check. We're gonna before even putting it in, we're gonna validate it. Validate it. We're gonna send the board the row, like the which row we are in, which column we have right now, n, which is basically 9 in this case, and the I character, which is the character we want to try out. If that is a valid, that like after putting that in, if it still stays valid, we gonna put the I character at that place. And after that we're gonna we're gonna call back the DFS with the new board with that added value and the n. And if we receive uh, true, we're gonna be returning true. And after this, like after checking all the 9 values, what we're gonna be doing here is like we're gonna say that is so basically in backtracking, once we are done testing with these values, we're gonna move it back to, if none of them worked, we need to move it back to a dot and return false. Now the last thing we need to actually, before that, after coming out of these two traversal loops, we're gonna be returning true. The last thing we need to do is to program this is valid function. So the is valid function is basically going to take the board, the row, the current column, n, which is the total the total number of rows, the total number of columns, which is 9, and the I character, which is an integer from 1 to 9 converted to a character. So we're gonna try that out. So so for that, what we're gonna be doing is, like, first of all, we're gonna be doing the block row, which is r divided by 3, and after taking the floor of that, multiplied by 3. Similarly, the column, the block column, like which block we want to check for, is again c divided by 3, taking the floor of that and then again multiplying it by 3. Now we're gonna traverse through, like, the I is gonna be going from 0 to 9, and then we want to check that the row, we want to check few things here. First of all, we want to check that the row, like the, yeah, we are checking that whether, if in three different cases, if the value of that I character, if it is already equal to I character which we want to put in, that means it's a false. We shouldn't be able to do that. So yeah, there's a mistake here. We're gonna check at the rth row and the ith column, ith row and the c column. Yeah, we basically want to check in these two things. We need to return if we have that. Then we're gonna say that the current row is equal to the block row, because we also want to check uh, in that block, do we have that value in that block, right? So we have to have like a 3x3 block which we want to try out. So the current row is going to be equal to the block row plus the math dot floor of I divided by 3. Similarly, the current column is going to be equal to the block column plus the math dot floor of I divided by 3. Oh, actually, this time it's going to be equal to the modulus of 3. So once we have calculated the blocks, we have to make sure that if the board of that current row and the current column becomes equal to I character, that means we're going to be returning the false. So initially we were just checking the rows and the columns. Now we are checking the whole blocks. If we come out of that for loop, that means we are good to return the true. That after putting the I character at this current row and column, this is gonna still be a uh, valid Sudoku. So that is it. We implemented the is valid, which actually gives us that whether it's gonna be valid after putting the value in, and then we have the depth first search, and it passed. Let's see how it does for the other tests. Yeah, all the tests passed. So thanks for watching.